What's going on, guys? I'm Dan Karpuc. The NBA play-in tournament tips off tonight with the Hornets hosting the Heat and the Suns taking on the Trailblazers. We got loaded MLB and NHL slates as well, but I've got 3 bets locked in during using TrendsCenter data. Let's get right into it. This is the Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 edition of Trend or Trap. Let's start off with the Hornets versus the Heat in the first play-in game of the night. And per TrendsCenter, this season, the Hornets have gone 18-6 against the spread. That's 75% for plus 11.4 units, 43.18% ROI against teams that scored 120 points or more in their previous game. Is this a trend or is this a trap? I'm going to say this is a trend, and I'm backing it with the Hornets minus 5.5. Does Eric Spoelstra versus rookie head coach Charles Lee concern me a little bit? Sure. Yes, I'll admit that. But let's talk about what Charlotte has actually become this season. After starting 16-28 and falling to 12th in the East, the Hornets went 28-10 down the stretch with the 3rd best offensive rating, 6th best defensive rating, and the 2nd best net rating in the NBA. Their starting 5 of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Con Canupul, Miles Bridges, and Moussa Diabate has been simply absurd. 134.9 offensive rating, that's 11.8 better than any other starting unit in the NBA. A 108.6 defensive rating, which is also elite, and that 26.4 net rating is the best among any 5-man unit with at least 250 minutes over the last at least 19 seasons. I look back every single year on NBA.com and confirmed that. It's pretty insane. This starting unit has arguably been the best in modern NBA history, which is wild to say. Charlotte's 44 wins also have come by an average of 18.2 points this season. You might think that's sky high, and yes, it actually is better than OKC this season. And guess what? It's the highest in NBA history. So they have blown teams out when things are clicking. Yes, Miami beat them by 27, 18, and 8 earlier in the season. But Charlotte won the most recent meeting by 30 on March 17th. Injuries matter too. The Hornets are fully healthy. The Heat are dealing with injuries to Nikola Jovic and Drew Smith. They're both out. Pell Larson's questionable. Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Simone Fontecchio are all going to play, but they're playing through nagging injuries, which at this time of the year probably everybody is, but they did show up on the injury report, which is notable. Charlotte is also 50-32 against the spread. That's 61% on the dot. That's the best in the NBA, including 26-15 against the spread at home. That's 63.4%. That's 3rd best. I'm going to roll with the Hornets here and say that they cover 5.5 at home. Let's go to the next play-in game. That's the Suns versus the Trailblazers. Per TrendsCenter, the Suns have gone 33-19 against the spread. That's 63.46%, plus 12.1 units, 21.15% ROI against Western Conference opponents this season. So they've really taken care of business. But is this a trend or is this a trap in this spot? I'm going to say that this is a trap. I'm fading it. And give me the Blazers plus 3.5 here on the road. Donovan Clingan has developed into a real mismatch inside. I think he's going to probably have his way on the interior, and he could step back and hit that three-pointer now, which is something that he never had at UConn during his collegiate career, but he developed since he got to the NBA. Drew Holiday at point guard brings that championship experience. Denny Advia is that all-star caliber player who impacts the game everywhere across the box score in various ways, can facilitate, can score. Tumani Kamara, elite on-ball perimeter defender. The list goes on and on. I really like the way that this Portland team is constructed with role players and those guys who know exactly what their roles are on this squad. And on the other side, yes, Devin Booker is elite, but who do you actually trust beyond that? I don't really trust anybody on the Suns team, to be honest, except Devin Booker. You know he's going to go for 25, 30 points. He can go and explode for something crazy, of course, and have one of those outlier games. But I really think that the Portland side of this is the way to go. Jeremy Grant, yes, and Grayson Allen, yes, are both questionable for their respective sides. I expect both of them to play, which is notable. But still, I'm going to fade the trend, and I'm going to take Portland plus 3.5 on the road in this one. I think that this is a trap. Finally, let's go to the Diamond. The Giants at the Reds. Since April 30th, 2025, with a total above 8, the under has gone 17-2-1. That's 89.47% for plus 14.8 units, 67.27% ROI when Brady Singer has started. And he is starting in this matchup for the Reds against Robbie Ray. So is this a trend or a trap? I'm going to say this is a trend. I'm going to back under 8.5 runs. Yes, Brady Singer has looked horrendous this season so far. 0-1 with a 7.71 ERA, 21 hits, 10 earned runs, 11.2 innings and 3 starts. But if you dig a little bit deeper here, it's not as bad as it looks. 4.17 FIP, 2.84 xFIP. That tells a very different story. Great American Ballpark is known as a hitter's park, one of the best hitter's parks, but totals have consistently been overpriced here. And this is something that I've been betting since the beginning of last season with a lot of accuracy. The under has actually hit at a 59.7% clip in Cincinnati last season. That's the highest mark in the MLB in 2025. So pretty crazy for a hitter's ballpark. But again, the sportsbooks have overinflated these totals. Robbie Ray, 2-1, 2.08 ERA. He's been sharp. This is a Reds lineup with plenty of guys full of strikeout potential, which plays directly into Robbie Ray's strengths as a guy who has traditionally lived on missing those bats as part of what he does on the mound. Both of these offenses are also really struggling so far. The Reds, 3.38 runs per contest. That's third worst in the majors. The Giants, 3.19 runs per game, second worst in the majors. The only ahead of the White Sox at 3.08 for context there. So this is a classic inflated total spot. I'm going to trust the data. Yes, it kind of feels a little bit stinky to go with the under with Mr. Singer on the mound based on how he's looked so far. However, I'm going to roll with the statistics and those that data that I just talked about. So that is it for today's episode of Trend or Trap. To recap, I'm going to go with the Hornets minus 5.5 as a trend, the Blazers plus 3.5 as a trap, and finally the Reds Giants under 8.5 as a trend. Let me know which one is your favorite. Are you tailing any of these? Did I get anything crazy wrong? Call me out on social media. I'll be happy to banter back and forth with you. And I will see you in the next episode of Trend or Trap.